morning, fuzzy ones. Hi, precious. Hi, baby Sammy. You gonna come say hi? Morning, everyone. So day, I don't know, 200 million of self-isolation. I just rolled out of bed. I've been waking up late. I would consider today to be an early productive intention day because I have a lot of orders. So it's 9:30. Like I said, just rolled out of bed and fed the cats, and I hesitated as to whether I was going to make this video fit my usual genre of what I eat in a day. If this is the first what I eat in a day you see from me, please go check my other ones out from normal times, because I normally have like a very nicely ordered, like square meals with healthy snacks kind of approach. But my intention for this video is to just be really real, so it's gonna be in some ways like a little bit more of a vlog than it is like this amazing, like here's what you should be eating kind of thing. But hopefully I'll also give you some ideas of things to try that don't need a lot of ingredients, or that will use things you already have on hand. I've been doing basically like one weekly grocery shop, either ordering it and having it delivered because we have very good Amazon Fresh here in Seattle, or I go to Amazon Go or another like local grocery store that doesn't have too many people. But I don't go very often, which means I'm always trying to be kind of creative as to what I'm making. But it's not like, I don't know, it's more snacky for me nowadays than it would normally be. Keep playing with this orange, but this is like the one thing that's been kind of consistent, is that I get up kind of late, stay up kind of late, and the first thing I do when I get up is feed my cats, then I make coffee and I eat some kind of fruit while I wait for the coffee to be made. Let's make some coffee. That will help us to get going. I'm gonna eat my fruit, go through emails and things like that while I do that. This is a Sumo orange. These are amazing. They're so good. Sometimes I do an apple as well, or if I've done like my weekly grocery shop recently, then I might have a banana and I might eat that. I have a drip coffee maker here. I really miss my Violetti and my Nespresso, which is how I would normally make coffee. You guys know this is a furnished apartment that I'm now renting month to month. Directly from the property management company. So I started with Airbnb on renting directly, but it's not my stuff. So everything is a little bit makeshift, which has been really hard because I feel like times like these when you're home all the time would be when you would want to have like all of your cooking equipment that you've built up over years. Like I feel like I'd be making things maybe like gnocchi or fresh pasta and being a little bit more inspirational in my cooking, maybe if I had those tools. But then again, what I've found so challenging is that this whole like quarantine for me does not feel like a writer's retreat. So like any kind of, I don't know, like intention to use this time to do something amazing, like write my first novel or something, is out the window. The best I've been able to do is to try and create some kind of content for this channel that feels like it honors a situation, which I talked about in my latest vlog if you haven't seen that, and just try and continue small acts of creativity that I would normally do, like design new things for my line and make jewelry for you guys. And I've been making a lot of custom orders because I'm running a 15% off sale on custom orders and a 10% off sale on what's on my site. That has felt really fulfilling for me and really positive, and it's honestly like that is what gets me out of bed every day. And trying to do something extra and amazing on top of that, like do all these crazy workouts or something, it went out the window at like day 3. So I have a yoga mat, oh my gosh, that my cats enjoy probably more than I do. Don't you, Sammy? So they do their cat yoga and then they shame me into doing like a few stretches a day, and that's about all that I do. A small blessing is I have Hawaiian coffee right now, so I have this awesome French roast from the Lion brand, and maybe I will have like a big wave of creativity after cooking creativity after today, because we are going to try something new. I'm gonna bake focaccia today, which I have never made before, but I've made pizza dough, which is pretty similar. So we're gonna do that together. We're gonna make it really delicious, and we're gonna see how it turns out, because I want to have, like, I want to find a recipe that will make it really pillowy rather than like pizza crust like. That's the goal. We'll see how we do. I don't feel super hungry either. I don't tend to feel hungry, so it's like, yeah, it's almost 10 now. I'll tend to have something a little bit more substantial around like 11:30, so it's kind of more of like a weekend brunch situation, but like every day. I'm going to get out of these pajamas, so I try and exit the pajama situation before noon, which is a very reachable goal. Going into this, I kind of was more about like getting out of them immediately, like get up, shower, get dressed. It has gone out the window already, but I found no pajamas afternoon works well for me because I stay up kind of late. So then it still, you know, doesn't feel like I'm spending a significant part of the day in my pajamas, and I get dressed and I kind of primp a little bit, especially if I'm going to go downstairs and get some packages or be shipping out orders or something like that. Then those days I will usually put a little bit of makeup on, and then other days I don't. So it's kind of 50-50 as to the makeup situation, because, you know, getting groceries, going for a walk, shipping out orders, those are like my going out moments right now, and so I try and get ready for those like I would for like normal life. So I look a little more human, and I'm wearing some of my favorite things today. So this is basically my quarantine uniforms. So I've got my Lululemon leggings on. I have, I think, about 4 pairs here, which I just basically like wear, wash, repeat, etc. I have a couple pairs of sweatpants too, but there's something about these that just feel like really comfortable, and they're good for stretching and things like that too. So that has been my favorite thing to wear. And then underneath I'm wearing a tank top that I just got, and I really like this one because I don't know, like it doesn't make any sense to me to wear a bra when I am just by myself, but equally, I don't know, I don't want to wear nothing either, especially if I'm filming. So it has a built-in soft cup bra with like molded cups, so it's like, it's a nice amount of support, like a light support that feels like nothing but still provides something. And then my favorite cozy thing has been this long Barefoot Dreams cardigan. It's a shawl collar cardigan with the texture of cable knit, which are like all my favorite things in this kind of oatmeal color. So that's been like my favorite top layer to wear, and I try and open up some of the windows around the apartment to get some fresh air in, so it's nice to have something cozy when that is the case. And then for jewelry, I'm wearing my new Nouvelle Pearl earrings, the sterling silver huggy style hoop, and then the pendant pearl, which is really pretty because it has a lot of movement. And then I liked the earrings so much that I wanted to make a matching pendant, but I didn't want to just make an ordinary pendant that would always have to go on the same kind of fine chain. So what I did is I managed to find some really nice flexible wheat chain at a really good price point. So it's very shiny, it has a really great texture, kind of like a braid basically in sterling silver, and the pendant actually clips onto that. So normally with a pendant you wouldn't be able to put it on a thick chain like this or clip it onto, for example, another pearl necklace, like if you already have my convertible pearls or something like that, or another pearl necklace that you love. It clips on, so you don't have to worry about it fitting over the chain because it will clip onto anything and it stays firmly in place once it's like that. So that's my new design, and I can do it in gold as well. That would be a custom design, so if any of you guys are interested, I think I have one order for that right now, so at some point I'll be able to put up a photo of it and show you what it looks like. But yeah, those custom orders have been challenging me to kind of find and source different types of findings that I normally wouldn't source, and it's been really fun, like a bit of a treasure hunt, and kind of keeping me on my design toes. So before I get too much into making orders, I just started, I'm gonna have a little snack. This I guess should be lunch, but it feels like tea time to me because I just haven't really been up long enough to have like a lunch level of hunger. So this is banana bread that is Oh, so fragrant. Like that smell of banana is so comforting in banana bread format to me. I also put chunks of apple in here, which are so yummy. Food Wishes recipe that I feel like I've made for you guys before. This is, I think, this third day, so I made it 2 days ago, which puts it firmly into toast category. I might actually go ahead and freeze the rest of this later if I don't have a second slice. So I think I'm just going to toast it up with a little bit of butter. Also very good with peanut butter or almond butter as well. And then I just went to go down and grab my packages, and one of them was this new green tea that I ordered, which is steamed green tea. It's very fancy and organic. So I thought I would treat myself to that, and we'll see if the flavor matches kind of the description and fancy packaging. Key tip when making green tea is not to have your water be too hot. So this is a really like crappy kettle, so I don't know what the temperature is, but I know that I didn't let it boil for like the whole entire cycle, maybe like 3/4 of it, and you don't want it to be like absolutely scalding. So it said about a teaspoon, but that's for a smaller cup, so I'm going to do a little tiny bit more. Oh my gosh, the smell. Oh, it's so good. I am a green tea lover, so I'm really excited for this. All right, so I'm just gonna let that develop. This beautiful slice, perfectly golden. A little bit of butter, which in my book says everybody else's a lot of butter. That's part of what I like about this Food Wishes recipe though, is that it's not very oily. Like, you know when you get a slice of banana bread from Starbucks and it soaks like the paper envelope through with oil? This is the opposite of that, and I kind of like that because I do tend to toast it and put butter on it after the first day of making it anyway, so that just kind of makes sense to me. If you want to make the recipe and you have walnuts or pecans on hand, which I did not, hence the apple, the chopped apple that I added, I do miss the texture of the nuts. It makes like a bigger difference than I would have thought it would. But I mean, it's a warm baked good, so who am I to complain? I'm gonna take a gentle sip of this. It's probably a little too hot. It's very good. It has a kind of creaminess to it rather than a bitterness, if I can sort of compare it with your, you know, average Sencha green tea bag. Okay, so I feel like this is kind of gonna be comedy of errors baking to some extent because I'm so badly equipped, but we're gonna see what happens out of the situation and see if we can make something edible. So I watched Jeffrey Allen's at-home recreation of the Bon Appetit Focaccia recipe. So I like his channel because he's in an apartment. He looks like he should be cast as Anna Kendrick's brother in something. There's like a freakish like family-like resemblance between them, but I don't think he's Anna Kendrick's brother, but I don't know. Anyway, he's a small YouTuber, so I thought I would check him out and mention him and give him credit because he tried to make the focaccia both ways with a larger baking pan and a smaller one. Now, unfortunately, I only have the larger one with the bad result. So what I'm gonna try and do is to just freeform it and see if I can just make something that'll be like a thicker oval or something like that, like a freeform style focaccia in the middle of it, because I really don't want it to be like very, very thin, like a pizza dough. I want it to be more bread-like, but that's the only pan that I have. Otherwise, we're going straight to a banana bread loaf pan, which I think is gonna be too tall. I have what is still, I mean, it's not boiling anymore, but it's too hot. So I'm gonna combine that with some warm tap water. It should be then the perfect temperature to not kill my yeast. Let's see. Yeah, that's like, I wouldn't want to take a bath in that because it's not high enough. So that's, I think, good. And then to that, you are supposed to add 2 teaspoons of honey. And again, I'm so not well equipped because this is like a teaspoon measurement within, oh my god, it doesn't even fit. All right, we're gonna do our best here. I'm gonna oil it because otherwise it's never going to come out. So I'm gonna use the rest of this olive oil in this focaccia later anyway. Focaccia requires a lot of olive oil to make it taste good, so hopefully you're well equipped with that, and if not, I would make another bread recipe. Okay, so that's like 1. Yeah, I'm so happy I oiled this, otherwise we would be here forever. And then this is local honey, which is kind of fun. I also have Manuka honey, but that feels odd to use, like way too fancy to use in a baking recipe. All right, just gonna mix that up to get the honey to dissolve. And then I have my giant package of yeast, which is so sweet. My mom ordered this on eBay or something for me, and she clearly has very high expectations for how much baking I'm going to be doing, but at least I'm doing one thing with it. And so it said 2 1/4 teaspoons. So that's 1. 2. And then we're gonna eyeball the 1/4. There we go. My honey water yeast mixture, and I'm just going to let that develop and hopefully get bubbly for, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes or something like that, I think is what you're supposed to do. That's what my waffle recipe requires. My yeast is definitely beautifully bubbly and alive. I don't know if you guys can see that, but to that we are going to add our 5 cups of flour. Flour is a precious resource nowadays, so I hope this turns out good, and then I'll be able to freeze a lot of it and have homemade focaccia. We want to add 1 tablespoon of salt. The thing is, because of different humidity and flour milling, you may need a little bit more or less flour. The result is supposed to be a shaggy dough, so I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it's still supposed to be pretty sticky, not a dry consistency. And I think, yeah, I think this is gonna be good. So mine actually looks a little bit drier than his, but guess what? I'm okay with that because, as I told you guys, I don't want it to spread too much and end up being too thin. So this is what I've ended up with, and I'm kind of gonna go with that instead of adding more water. So what you're supposed to do at this stage is have a clean bowl into which you transfer the dough into a pool of oil. I do not have a clean bowl. This is the only bowl I have. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour my oil on top, and it's supposed to be 5 tablespoons. And just at 5. And then you're supposed to just kind of turn the focaccia dough into the oil so that it's coated with oil. And this is where you would put it in the fridge overnight if that's what you're doing, or leave it on the counter. I think it says 3 to 4 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then we're gonna have a late night focaccia dinner. It'll need 1 more rise once it's on the baking sheet. And I'm gonna go show you guys how to make a very basic, easy pantry soup to go with it a little bit later on. So I think while it has its final rise, I'll probably start dinner, and that'll work out pretty perfect. So if you've been curious as to what's been going on, BB is continuing to show off her mastering of the afternoon nap. I've been making orders on repeat. I have new pouches, which I'm so happy about. So these are the same as usual for Gold Collection. If you haven't seen them before, they have a snap and a divider. And then I have new Silver Collection pouches, so that means anything that you would purchase that has silver on it, which are significantly upgraded. So it's like this really thick faux suede. It's really soft and substantial, and there's a divider now inside the pouch, and it's a little bit bigger as well to accommodate larger designs. So I really love how this turned out, and the metallic effect on both of them. I've been working on a number of custom designs. Excuse my hideous nails. If you've seen my last vlog, you understand they're still kind of lumpy. But these are pearlberry earrings that have been customized with classic white pearls and gold hardware instead of the usual silver. And then the customer also requested leatherback backings, which makes them a little bit more secure, perhaps for peace of mind. So yeah, that is my first custom design that I've done this afternoon, and I'm really pleased with the result and the pretty movement of them and the grape-like effect with the gold hardware. All right, look at this update. I think we're ready to spread this beauty out, and then I'm gonna let it rest some more before I bake it up and we make some soup together. So they greased the baking sheet with butter in the video, but I have a little bit of olive oil here left in my bottle. Plus I have a Silpat mat, which is very non-stick, so I'm not too worried about the bottom, and I'm just gonna use the remaining olive oil. And I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not going to spread this out all the way to the corners because I would rather it be a little bit thicker and fluffier and less kind of pizza-like. So with my now olive oily hands, can I get any more of this out? Try and be frugal with our ingredients here, as we all are. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm really pleased with this. To fold it in a couple of times, like so. I guess I could have done that in the bowl, but that's okay. Like I said, I have a very non-stick, high quality Silpat here. So I think this will be good. And I'm just gonna spread it out a little bit. Normally I think the rosemary is put on at the very end before you bake it, but I kind of want it to sink in to the dough a little bit. So I'm gonna put it on now. Like I said, we're kind of winging this. I'm gonna put this back into my cold oven for probably about another 2 hours or an hour and a half or something like that for its final rise, and then we will bake this beauty up. Check this out, guys. I'm feeling pretty impressed with myself. It's got this like giant air bubble here in the middle. Should we pop it? So exciting! And I wish I had some Maldon salt or something like that, but I don't. So yeah, I'm just gonna poke it away like you're supposed to, and then we're gonna season it some more with some olive oil and salt, and then it'll bake for about 30 minutes in our very hot oven, and we will make some soup while it starts to cook. I'm going to do the garlic butter that was in the original recipe because I'm going for more of like an Italian rosemary olive oil kind of flavor, so I'm being a bit generous. So I've made this minestrone in one video or another so many times throughout the years, but I thought it would be a nice reminder because this is truly the most versatile soup where you can use almost anything. My celery is a little bit past its prime, but that's okay. I also have some parsley stems that I'm gonna chop up and use because a lot of the flavor is in the stems. And then you just basically need something with beans as your base. So you might have some canned beans, dried beans, so whatever kind of beans. I actually have a soup mix here from Bob's Red Mill that I'm kind of interested to try. So this is not going to be authentic, and nobody cares right now about authentic or not authentic. Basically just want to create something tasty. So this has red beans, pinto beans, lentils of various different colors, and it actually has brown rice as well. So I'm gonna cook it up and kind of see how I feel about it. If I feel like it's not substantial enough, then I will add some pasta at the end because I'm me. So some kind of vegetable base. If you have some kale or something like that, that would be delicious, or maybe a frozen vegetable that you'd want to use. And then the main thing is you need some kind of chicken stock to add to it. Some kind of vegetable stock would be fine too. And then you want some kind of tomato product. And again, the nice thing is it doesn't have to be like passata necessarily. You can use tomato paste, you can use some leftover tomato sauce, whatever you have on hand, and I promise it will still be delicious. So I'm gonna chop up my 2 carrots, stir fry them up with the onion and celery to develop some flavor, which is really important when you're making like a very basic soup. To develop some color and flavor in your vegetables is also the perfect step to bring out flavor in any dried herbs or spices that you're using. So rather than adding them to the liquid stage, if you add them to the oil stage, then you'll get a lot more flavor. A few other things that you haven't seen that I'm gonna add are also some garlic, and then I've got a Parmesan cheese crust, which if you have a crust from Parmesan cheese or any other hard cheese, highly recommend that you add it. There's so much flavor in there. It will add that umami kind of savory flavor that will bring your soup to the next level. So, time to chop away. So it came out of the oven, and look at that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It looks so good. I do wish I'd had a smaller pan, but I think we made it work. It's definitely thicker than it would have been had I really pushed it to the edges. So let's crack into it. Definitely got good air in it, I can tell that. The beans are taking forever to soften. Don't believe the package instructions. Definitely takes significantly more than an hour to cook dried beans, probably more like 2, but that's okay because we have some sustenance. So can you see there's like really good air running through it? Oh, there's a really big air bubble here. It's golden. The underside is golden as well. First bite. This is the best thing that's happened to me since lockdown. Wow. How did I get to 31 years old without making this? Don't let it happen to you. It's so good. It has really good elasticity, fluffiness, flavor. All right guys, the soup is finally ready. It's like almost 8 p.m. Definitely don't believe package instructions that tell you that beans cook in 60 to 90 minutes. This has taken over 2 hours, which is totally fine because the result looks really good and creamy, and in the meantime I've had time to eat 1/3 of the focaccia, which I'm not mad about. Here's my finished minestrone. I didn't end up adding pasta because I figured I would do that with the leftovers, and again, my main interest in life is now this focaccia. I cut off a dainty piece so it doesn't look like I'm gonna eat all of it tonight. Although I kind of foresee that I'm probably gonna eat this much again because I'm mainly interested in this soup for the dipping potential. Although I will say it's very good. Wow, that cheese crust, even tasting the parts that I haven't put cheese on, it tastes kind of cheesy. So if you have a cheese crust lying around, definitely don't throw it away. So you dip, and so good. My focaccia and I bid you good night. I hope you guys are staying well. I think of you every day and hope that you're all staying really safe and as happy as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next isolation installment. Good night.